Hi guys, how's it going? This is Sandeep, or Too Old for Gaming. So I'm starting up my stream now, and today I'm playing Need for Speed on the Vita, and going to play a bit of Need for Speed online, and also chat about the PS5 event, which maybe some of you guys just saw as well. Uh, Interesting event. It was, I think there were some of the things I would have liked to have seen. Maybe a God of War sequel. Um, maybe also the price and the release date. But other than that, it was pretty. It had some very cool games like Dark Souls Remastered. Demon Souls Remastered. Definitely looking forward to that. And then I think Horizon Zero Dawn sequel as well. Horizon Forbidden West looked very cool. So I think there were some cool things coming out of it. Some bit weird choices as well. Interested to hear what everyone else thinks about it. I think the decision to start off with Grand Theft Auto 5 was a bit random. It's when that came up on screen, it was just like, why would you do that? It seemed like a very weird choice to start off with a game that was literally a PS3 game. So I don't know why that was kind of their first choice for launching the stream, but that's fine. They went with that. Then what came after that? So then actually we had a cool reveal, which was the Spider-Man title, Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is very cool. Loved Spider-Man on the PS4, so that was awesome. I don't know if it's a new game or expansion or DLC, but definitely excited to try that, whatever it is. So by the way, guys, I'm just playing online on Need for Speed. So I'm just playing on an open public online multiplayer area. Happy to join anyone's games if you're looking to kind of get some of the online trophies and you've got Need for Speed installed in your Vita. Happy to join your game and help you try and get those trophies. I realized that I actually have nearly all the trophies for online, which is pretty cool. The only one I don't have is the one where you need to grind for all of the mods for your car. So you can install different mods, which I'm just going to show you now. So you can go into the mods and choose different mods that you can add. And so what I need to do is actually just grind and get all the mods, and then I'm pretty much done with all the trophies, and I'll be close to the platinum. I still got a few single player ones to get, but it'll be pretty close. So if anyone needs any help and needs me to help them kind of get those trophies online, I'm happy to jump into anyone's games. So after Spider-Man on the PS5 event, there was Gran Turismo 7, which it didn't really interest me that much, to be honest. I was only ever really a fan of Gran Turismo on the PSP. It's not something I was ever hugely big fan on console, so didn't make that much difference to me. Although it did look amazing. It looked really, really beautiful. Then there was Ratchet and Clank, which looked pretty cool. Then there was Project Athia, which was a Square Enix title. No information really, it's just a very, very short trailer. So hopefully it's good, but yeah, I think it needs to see more really to understand what that was. And then after that there was Returnal. That was Housemarque's new game, which looks pretty cool. I'm definitely interested in that. That was, it looked like kind of a roguelike kind of 3D shooter. So yeah, that looked very cool. Definitely interested in that one. And then there was Sackboy's Big Adventure, which is like a 3D platformer with Sackboy from Little Big Planet. Again, looked okay. Looked fun. Not sure it really kind of grabbed me, but it seemed like it's something that my kids may enjoy. Then there was Destruction All Stars, which didn't really interest me that much, to be honest. Then Kenna, which looked like kind of a 3D sort of, maybe like kind of a Zelda game, almost Zelda adventure kind of game, called Kenna, which looked pretty cool. So that was one I think I would happily kind of be I would keep an eye on at least, see what reviews are like for that one. Then there was Soulstorm, Ghostwire Tokyo, both of them looked cool, and then Jet, again looked okay. Godfall, which looked like kind of an action game, that looks fun. That one I quite like the look of that one. Then Hitman 3, which definitely looked awesome. I'm a big fan of Hitman 1 and 2. So Hitman 3, that's definitely got me interested. 1 and 2, Hitman 1 and 2 were awesome, especially the sniper mode on Hitman 2. So Hitman 3, I think, I really love the idea of jumping into that. Then there was Little Devil Inside, which looked kind of like a fun sort of animated adventure game. That looked cool. Then Demon Souls Remastered, which is just definitely something I would be interested in. I've loved every Souls game and Bloodborne as well. So Demon Souls, I loved that game. I imported it from the US because there was no sign of it coming out in Europe for a while. So I loved it. And I definitely would love to have the remaster on PS. Yeah, I mean on PS5 if I get one, or hopefully on PS4 even if it comes to it. Then we had Deathloop, and then Resident Evil 8, which again looked very cool. Then we had Pragmata, which looked kind of weird. It's like kind of this astronaut sort of crumbling Earth ends up in the moon with like a girl, maybe a robot kind of little girl. Not sure what I was looking at there. It kind of looked like a Hideo Kojima game, but it didn't really. Don't think it said anything who was directing it or producing it. So yeah, not really sure who was making it, but looked interesting. Then we had Horizon Forbidden West, which looked very cool. Horizon Zero Dawn was awesome. So Horizon Forbidden West, that's definitely again got me interested in seeing more of that. And then the last thing was showing the reveal of the actual console, which actually I quite like the look of the console. And they had two SKUs of it. So they had the regular one. Oop, gonna crash. They had the regular one, which was with disk drive, and then they had a second one, which was digital only, which was a little, it's okay. I'm not completely against a digital only console. I wasn't expecting that at all, but hopefully it would need to be quite a lot cheaper to justify something like that, because you can always get secondhand physical games a lot cheaper than you can digital games, or generally at least. So I would be interested in hearing kind of more about the cost. But what I really wanted to know, and they didn't really confirm or talk about it, was the cost of the system, the release date, and confirmation of backwards compatibility, or a little bit more discussion of, is it just PS4? Will we get PS3, PS2, PS1? Would love to have seen some discussion around that, but they didn't talk about any of that kind of stuff, unfortunately. So I'm gonna see if I can jump into a random multiplayer match. If I just find a public game. Like I said, guys, if anyone is looking for somebody to join their games, I'm happy to jump in. And look, so a couple of people are online. I'm gonna join Rob on whatever game he's on. This is a great game, by the way, guys. So if you haven't played Need for Speed on the Vita, it's a really good game. It was kind of frustrating back when it came out, because some of the reviews for it I think were really unfair. It was being compared to the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions of the game, which obviously, this is a handheld. It's not going to compare in terms of the graphics or how much you can do, and there was less traffic and there's less cop cars on the road, and so it kind of got a little bit downgraded in terms of reviews, and it was criticized for that kind of thing. Oh, I think my Vita's crashed. I think the game may have crashed. That's never happened before. Okay, let me shut it down, start it again. So yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. It got a lot of bad reviews, I felt like, when it first came out. Or not bad reviews, it got disappointing reviews when it first came out. But I think it's actually a really good game. This is a really really brilliant game, a really kind of good example of console quality gaming on the go on the Vita. It's a massive open world. You got so many races to play through, so many cars to find. It's just a massive amount of content, and it plays so well. This crash that you just saw, that was unfortunate, but actually I've never seen that happen to me before. So I think this is possibly one of the first times and only times it's ever happened. But other than that, it does play really well, and it's just a great game. So the game, the way it works is you basically can just drive around this whole city, and you can find cars. You can find new cars to unlock, which are just kind of dotted all around the city. Or you can jump into different races. So if you press on the D-pad, you can see the top kind of left corner. You can see that you can go into races if you want. And the ultimate aim is really to play against the most wanted cars. So there's 20 cars that you have to beat, which are kind of like bosses basically that you're racing. And the kind of aim is that you earn enough speed points through doing loads of different things in the game, and eventually you get to face the most wanted cars, and become kind of the best almost of the racers. And so you can earn speed point. You need speed points to unlock all of the most wanted cars. But to do that, you can complete races. You can do pretty much anything. Speeding by people, crashing into like cop cars or something. All of that will unlock new speed points, which will help you then be able to take on those most wanted races. So I just tried to enter a public game. Oh god, I'm getting smashed up. By the way, guys, I don't know if anyone's chatting or anything, because like right now it's showing. Oh, hey guys, you know something? So thank you all for joining, and I can see you guys have been chatting. I was like looking at my screen, and the screen I was looking at was just showing no chat at all. So it looks like, hey, you guys are here. So yeah, thanks for joining. You can see some familiar names from previous streams: Fletch, Mr. Snakecake, Jelly the Pro. Guys, yes, loads of people actually. Thank you all for joining. So yeah, if I'm like I said, I'm playing online right now. If anyone wants me to join their game and help them to grind some of the online trophies, I'm happy to do that. I've got pretty much all of them now, so the only ones I need to do is to unlock all the pro mods, which basically just does a little bit grindy to just play a lot of online multiplayer, and eventually you kind of unlock the pro mods, and then I can get that last online trophy, and then there's just a few offline ones I need to get to. So how's everyone? Hope everyone is doing well. Sackplay asks my PSN. It's insightful, the word insightful, but with a 1 instead of an I for the second I. So INS1GHTFUL. Oh, I'm going the wrong way now. So DXRK Shadow Dark Shadow says, totally agree with you, it's a great game, but Sonic All-Star Racing transformed my favorite racing game and near identical to the PS3 version. Yeah, that is a good game. It's I don't think I put as much time into it as Need for Speed. I think I did prefer this one. Just the whole open world, so many different cars to kind of find and race. I think that's what really I really enjoyed about it. But Sonic All-Stars Racing was really cool as well. So Gunsmoke is asking, am I playing on the PS TV? No, I'm playing actually on my Vita itself. I'm using a hacked Vita, so I can play it. I can connect it to a monitor and play it on the screen. So and actually I've also connected a DualShock 4 to it, so I'm actually controlling it using a DualShock 4. So Mr. Snakecake says, I've got only 2 complaints about the game: the weird intros to some of the races that you can't stop, you can't skip, and the steering can be a bit twitchy. Yeah, I agree. It's I actually find, like I said, I'm playing it on a DualShock 4 right now, which actually is a bit better. I find the Vita's thumbstick can be quite sensitive because it's so small. So for a game like this, I think it is a little bit sensitive to actually play a racing game like this. But actually on the DualShock 4 it plays really, really well. So Sora Delawi, you're saying that you can't connect to the Origin servers. That's strange. It's, yeah, I've never had an issue. I actually went online earlier today just to check that the game still plays okay and that the servers are working. I thought before I actually stream it. And so I actually found like people online playing even this afternoon. Just randomly, some people having a match. I joined one match, and then straight away I went to when that match finished, I went and joined another one. So it's pretty cool to see people are online and playing. Yeah, Dark Shadow. As soon as I got in, I got rammed straight away. That was unexpected. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys. I was talking a little bit about the PS5 event before. I'm not sure if everyone heard. Don't know if many of you guys kind of care about that sort of thing, but I thought it was interesting at least. There were some cool reveals there. I think especially Demon Souls Remastered was the highlight for me. What is this challenge? I wasn't paying attention when it started. So this one of the cool things about this game is there's so many different types of races that you can do, or so many different events. You can, they've got the traditional races, of course, and you've got different ones like race between 2 checkpoints and see who can kind of get between the 2 checkpoints the fastest. But then you've got other ones like kind of jumping over a ramp and seeing who can go the furthest, or trying to land on like a tricky platform and trying to stay on there the longest, which can be pretty tough. So we need to. I wasn't even paying attention to the what I needed to do here. So I needed to race to the crane platform. Okay, so wait, where is the crane platform? I think it's above. Okay, I need to try and get over there. So Ashwin asks, assume I'm getting a PS5. I don't know. I wasn't thinking to do it originally, to be honest. Okay, so wait, I need to get to that platform. So I wasn't planning to do it originally, but actually I gotta say, Demon Souls Remastered is probably one of the games that would really kind of convince me to do that. No, I didn't make it. That game alone, I think, is almost a system seller for me. But I do want to see a little bit more, and I think, I'm kind of hoping some of these games may just come onto the PS5, PS4 as well. So if it does go to the PS4, then I'm happy just to stick with that for now. But I think I just need to see what kind of see how much it costs as well. But it's got me more interested now than I was before the event, at least. So Sackplay, yeah, let me type it in the chat. You're saying you can't find my PSN. Try that. I've just put it into the chat. Oh yeah, Dark Shadow, I completely agree. So I don't, I've hacked my Vita for pretty much all the extra functionality that will give to me. But I don't condone and I don't pirate any Vita games. I'm not in favor of that, especially having my channel. I've kind of met and spoken to so many developers that the idea of kind of stealing games is just wrong to me. But the functionality of a hacked Vita is just awesome. It really is. It's so much you can do with it, and it's just amazing. Being able just to stream it to stream it to the to a PC is awesome. But then things like translation patches for games, there's so much that you can do with the hacked Vita. It kind of makes you think that, you know, this is just done by talented individuals. If Sony had actually put some time and effort, how much could they have done with the Vita? You know, it's just crazy. Oh, cool, Robert, you're in the same game as me. Awesome. I don't know if Robert, you've got the trophies yet, or if you need any, but yeah, like I said, I'm happy to kind of join anyone's game. Oh, ouch. That was a bad crash. Happy to join people's games and help them kind of boost for those trophies. So Sackplay, no, I don't think it's all caps actually. I don't think it's all. I'm pretty sure it isn't. But sorry, he's talking about my PSN. He's asking if my name is all caps. I thought it was, apart from the first I thought it was all lowercase. But if you found it, that's cool. So I can't profess, guys, to be very good at this game. I just really enjoy it. I've had such a great time playing it, like over the years. It's one of these games that, from my primary Vita, I'm never going to delete it. It's always there, and it's just because I love it so much. And like I said, hopefully one day I should be able to get the platinum trophy. I think having the last couple of multiplayer trophies done, and then getting those last single player ones, that's all I need. Then I can get that platinum. But it's one of these games where you can easily just return to it again and again and again. It's just such a great game. So Marcelino asks if the PS5 event mentioned anything about streaming to the Vita. No, they didn't. I mean, they gave very little information. It was, to their credit, it was very much games. It was just lots and lots of game reveals, lots of trailers, which is cool. But there wasn't a huge amount of information that they actually gave about the system. So Sackplay, yep, no worries, I will accept it in just a moment. I'll accept your friend request. I'll just go into my phone and do that. I was hoping as well we'd see maybe like a God of War 2 or something trailer. It's a pity. I mean, obviously Horizon is cool, as is Spider-Man, but Sony's got so many games that I was kind of hoping we'd see maybe a few more of them, a few more of the kind of really cool first-party games. But I'm guessing they just they want to save those for later. So Sackplay, I've accepted your friend request. So if you can find me online, then you can jump on, I think. So yeah, Dark Shadow says, 100% agree with you, a hacked Vita is very convenient. I just don't want talented devs who are still making games for the Vita despite many who've given up being taken advantage of. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we don't get that many games as it is, and so any developer that is willing to bring their games to the Vita, I really appreciate it. I saw I put up a video recently about kind of top 10 Ratalaika games, and I saw some people saying, oh, Ratalaika trash, whatever. But, I think the fact that they're still bringing games to the Vita, that's something I appreciate. At least, Sony gave up so many years ago, and all these other bigger publishers gave up. And even a lot of small devs gave up. So the fact that these guys are still working to bring games to the Vita, porting games for the Vita, I think it's, something that I do appreciate. Hey, Kabuki Kid. So you said you're in for Horizon Zero Dawn sequel. Yeah, me too. Well, assuming I get it. Even if I don't, actually, I could kind of see myself. I can see myself getting the PS5 eventually, no matter what. It's one of these things. For the PS4, I said I wasn't going to buy it. I didn't pre-order or anything. I just, but for some, I think it was like literally on like 2 days before it actually came out, I just suddenly got the buzz for having it. And so on the night the PS4 came out, I went to a shop at midnight. And tried to. It was, for people in the UK who know it, it's Asda. I went to an all 24-hour Asda, and I I tried to see if they had any in stock, but they didn't. And then I ended up going to my local Sainsbury's at 6 a.m. the next day, and they had 5 in stock. And luckily, there were 3 people ahead of me, but I managed to get one of the last ones. So that was pretty cool. I get it literally on that release day. So Kadash77 says, my thoughts, the console looks amazing, games meh. You have to be ready on day one with something better than GTA 5. We need Resident Evil 8, GT7, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, but all of them have quite vague release dates. Yeah, that's a very fair point. Very fair point. You know, we do need more release, I think, than just Grand Theft Auto again. It's just random that that was even their first choice when it came to showing the console. So yeah, completely agree with that. So Gunsmoke says, I Am the Hero is a lot of fun. Yeah, totally agree. I'm the Hero from Ratalaika was one of my favorite games from them. I think that Super Destronaut, Metagal was really good as well. You know, they've had a few good games. You know, I don't think we can expect, these are kind of smaller indie titles, but you know, we're not going to expect something like Horizon Zero Dawn, but it's just, you know, they've done some cool things, and you know, do appreciate that from them. Robert Hayes says he thinks the PS5 looks beautiful. Yeah, I really like the design of the console. It looks really cool. It's different from previous PS5 systems. My only worry when I saw it was hopefully there'll be a black version, because underneath my TV everything is black. So I kind of I'd prefer if all the systems kind of look the same color. But other than that, it looked really cool. So Kabuki Kid asked if the price was confirmed. No, it wasn't. They didn't mention anything about the price, unfortunately. So I'm guessing that will come a bit closer to the actual launch of the system. So actually, yeah, Kabuki Kid makes a good point. The PS4 didn't have a great launch library. So I remember when I bought it, I bought Need for Speed, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and Killzone. Which were good. I loved Assassin's Creed. But yeah, it wasn't like an amazing launch library or anything. I think, you know, give a lot of credit to Nintendo, because Breath of the Wild was a great launch game for the Switch. So just looking at some more of your messages. So Jelly the Pro, can you buy me a PSN and send me a message, please? Can I buy you a PSN? I'm not sure what you mean, man. Excuse me, guys. Gunsmoke says, if I do next gen, it'll likely be PS5 for exclusives, and the fact that I get physical games that tend to be digital releases only. Yeah. Apologies, guys. Sorry about that. I was a little bit ill last week, and so I still haven't fully gotten over the cough. So yeah, I think the PS5 does have a lot of potential. I am looking forward to that. It sounds like some of the guys in the chat are looking forward to that as well, which is cool. Ooh, Robert Hayes asked, am I excited for the launch of Ys 9 later this year? Wait, has that been confirmed? If Ys 9 is coming out this year, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I have not heard that before. I knew it was out already in Japan, but I hadn't heard of the Western release yet. I'm really hoping it comes to Switch, actually. I know we're not going to get a Vita release of it, but you know, I think you guys already know this, but I'm really prefer kind of gaming on a handheld. So I'm definitely, you know, if it comes to Switch, that's the platform I'll get it on. And yeah, that was another system. Like Robert, you're saying that the Ys franchise, I only got into it because of the Vita. So I'm doing really bad right now. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Ys 9. Definitely want that. Actually, Robert asks as well. Oh, so wait. The great Jeremiah asks my PSN name. So it's actually a little bit up on the chat. If you look up, the word is insightful, but with a 1 instead of an I for the second I. So Robert's asking how I feel about Persona 4 going to PC. You know, I'm not that fussed about it. You know, we've had it on Vita for 7 years now, 8 years in fact. I think it's fine. It's a great game. It's I think more people playing it is no bad thing. What did annoy me a little bit is seeing people saying, oh, there's no reason to own a Vita now, which did annoy me a little bit. But other than that, I think it's fine. It's coming to PC. I started making a video kind of talking about 10 other great Vita exclusives that aren't Persona 5. So I'm going to put that up on my channel in the next couple of days or so. Just kind of finishing off the video. I had to re-record some of the audio. Oh, so Saxo, your Vita card got reset and you lost all your progress on Need for Speed. That's annoying. That's really annoying. Touch wood, all my memory cards have been fine so far, so I'm really hoping that stays the case. I kind of leave them in the Vita. I don't really take them out or mess with them. So, wow, someone just completely destroyed me. Yeah, no, that's a scary thing to hear when someone's memory card goes wrong. So Kabuki Kid's asking how much more for the disc version of the PS5 versus non-disc. I don't know. They didn't actually say anything. Didn't give any information about that on prices. And he also mentions that the Vita had a decent launch library. Yeah, the Vita had a great launch library, really good launch library, and so many games as well. I think that really kind of set the benchmark. Well, I was trying to think. Probably a few months ago, like comparing the Vita launch library to other systems that have come out, I think it probably had the best launch library for any system up to that point. Even PS5, PS2, Xbox, their launch libraries tended to be quite small. The Vita was the first one where it was really kind of a massive library, like 25 games, Uncharted, Wipeout, MotorStorm. There was a lot of good stuff there. So the Vita had a great launch library. So Jacek, yep, I'll accept your friend request. I'll just open up my the friends app on my phone. Yeah, Dark Shadow, thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm fine, man. I was just had a little bit of a kind of a flu last week. Not COVID or anything, but I've still got kind of a lingering cough after that, annoyingly. Oops. So Kabuki Kid, Kabuki Kid asks, I assume you need to get the disc version if you want to play the backwards compatible PS4 discs. I'm not sure. They may be able to do digital backward compatibility like Xbox does. So they haven't been clear at all in terms of how that's going to work with the PS5. But hopefully they'll be able to do digital backwards compatibility, because I've got a lot of games on the PS4 that I would want to be able to play. Ah, I missed my turning. Okay. Let's go back. So this is another one of those kind of events. You have to jump over make a big jump. Sorry, got distracted by the game. Forgot to look at the comments again. So Dark Shadow mentions, I've heard rumours that the Vita homebrew community are making unofficial games just to support the Vita. They don't make money out of it, and I'm grateful to them. Yeah, they do. I actually put up a video of one of those games recently called Super Console Wars, which is a fun little kind of shooter, kind of 2D shooter, which where you can play as one of the console companies, Sony, Nintendo or Xbox, and kind of just go and fight some of the armies of the other ones. But there are actually loads of homebrew games, and some of them are really impressive. There's one that kind of looks like Dark Souls. It's kind of trying to be like Dark Souls, but it doesn't run very well. But it was really impressive that kind of that it was on the system. I had it on the system. I think it was called Fallen Legion, maybe, or something. Or or something like that. I can probably download it again and show you guys one day. But yeah, there's a lot of homebrew games out there. It's actually really awesome. The kind of the all the stuff that people are putting onto the Vita. So Kabuki Kid says he finally bent and bought the Sega Genesis collection for the Vita, bought the PSP version and transferred it from PS3. Yeah, that's, you know, that collection is a really good collection, the Sega Genesis one. It's only missing Streets of Rage games. If it had that, I think it would have been perfect. But it has, it's got a decent collection of games, the Sega Genesis one. I also recommend the Capcom collection. That's another really good collection of games. If you're looking for some kind of retro collections to play on the Vita. The Capcom collections, there's two of them. I think one is Capcom Arcade Reloaded and one is Remixed. Both of those are really good games if you can find them on the store. I don't know if they're available in the US, but they're definitely available on the UK store. So actually, I think I need to jump over this platform, so I haven't actually achieved that once. Let's see if I can... Nope, missed it again. It's another example of a really random event. So you've got to take a big leap and jump over a massive platform. So you know, the multiplayer events in this game are actually really kind of varied and fun in terms of all the different things you could potentially be doing. So it's not just races again and again and again. There's so many different things you could be playing in the multiplayer. Nope, didn't make it again. So Sackplay, you bought a new Vita because your last one broke and you accidentally formatted it trying to switch accounts. Yeah, that is a disadvantage of the Vita. Something that Sony shouldn't have put in place, where you can't switch accounts. You know, you can do that on the PS4, PS3. You know, you can do it on the Switch. It's annoying that they decided to make it so that the Vita was just limited to one account. Because, you know, I would have loved to have been able to put my US account and EU account and play games from every region on one system. Didn't make it again. But it looks like this event is actually useful for unlocking pro mods. So the mods on the cards I need to get that last online trophy. This is the kind of event that will actually help me do that. Oh, Kabuki Kid, not a he. Sorry, sorry, man. Sorry, well, lady. Sorry. It's hard to know sometimes with people's names. Oh, Robert, so your 3-year-old knocked your Vita onto the floor when it was charging, and everything was lost apart from your 70-hour run of Trails of Cold Steel 2 that you were playing. Yeah, that's annoying. Really annoying. I find it very scary hearing stories like that when I hear people's Vitas breaking. I do have one of my Vitas had the floating joystick, you know, with the left analog stick would just kind of keep on kind of moving and floating around. So that was one of the reasons I ended up, you know, that's kind of sitting in my desk, and I let my kids use it sometimes, but I don't use that one anymore. It's the broken one. Will I clear it? Will I clear it? No, not again. And so, Robert, you lost 100 hours on Final Fantasy X. That's annoying. That's very annoying. So Kabuki Kid's you're still using the Vita that you got on launch day. Yep, I've got mine. My one is used for my US account. So I've got my regular EU one. Ouch. My regular EU one is slim, but my my fat OLED one is for the US account. So large man, you sent a friend request. I'll accept that in just a minute. So Kabuki Kid says, is Demon's Soul for PS5 just a remaster or a completely new game? I think it's a remaster. Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me, because in the trailer it had the same bosses that are in the original game. So it makes me think that it's probably a remaster. I'm not going to make this. Oh, Rob, I actually I knocked you out. Sorry about that. So Gunsmoke mentions there's a lot of amazing compilations from the PSP that you can get on the Vita. Yeah, there are. There's actually it's a shame because actually the PSP had a lot of compilations that didn't make it to didn't make it on PSN. I don't. I think there was an Atari one, but actually we've got an Atari collection anywhere in the Vita. There was a Taito arcade collection. There was a EA collection. There were quite a few. There was a King of Fighters collection on the PSP. There was a lot of different collections on the PSP that unfortunately didn't make it to PSN. So Robert asks, how excited am I for the Game Gear Micro? Not at all. Not at all. So I don't know if you guys have heard this. I was going to do a little video on this, making fun of it almost. But the Game Gear Micro is being released by Sega in a couple of months, I think. Not too far away. And it's basically there's 4 different systems with 4 different colors, and each one has 4 different games. So if you want to, there's only 16 games in total, and if you want all 16, you have to buy all 4 systems, which is just completely crazy. So and each one is like £50, so you're spending £200 on 16 games, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. So yeah, I'm definitely not grabbing that. It's really silly. Like if they had done one system and you have all 16 games, I think that would have been, it would have been okay at £50. But I think for what they're giving, it's pretty bad value in my opinion. It looks cool, but it would have been a nice novelty, I think, toy. But I think I would have wanted more games to pay that price for it. Or if it was cheaper, I would have got it just for the kind of fun of it. Yeah, so Kabiki Kid, you mentioned I can get a replacement join nub for cheap. So I actually did get one. I remember like somebody said to me, it's like, oh, it's really easy to do the replacement. And then I started looking at the tutorial and I thought, actually, I think I'm a little bit too lazy for this. So I've still got the replacement. I've got like the little special screwdriver you need. I got everything I needed to do it, but I think I was just too lazy when I saw the tutorial, thinking, oh, I can't be bothered to do this. And I had another Vita anyway, so I thought it's no big deal. I'm just going to leave that one alone and let the kids use it for Minecraft now and again. So Jasek asks, is PS Plus necessary? So if you're playing online on a Vita, you don't need PS Plus. That was never a requirement for the Vita, which is pretty cool. That was only for PS4 that it became mandatory that you needed to have PS Plus to play online. So Mr. Snakecake mentions after a PS3 crash, he learned the hard way to back up when possible. Yeah, I need to do that, my Vita. Especially my EU Vita, which is my main one. I do have backup games to the cloud with PSN, but I should probably just back it up on the computer as well. There's no harm in doing that. I've just been lazy again to do that. It's a 64 gig memory card. So I remember once when I did it, it took something like 7 or 8 hours. So I haven't actually sat down to do that again. But yeah, I think I definitely need to do it. Oh yeah, Gunsmoke. It's he makes a good point. He mentioned something. So your speed wall carries over from different systems as well. So it's all on the EA server. So whatever your speed points are on, say, PS3 or Xbox, even when you play the Vita version, you still carry all of them over. So I actually carried over loads of points from the mobile version. So I remember I got this version and loved it. So I bought the version on iOS as well. And so I remember I was playing that a little bit, and so the points carried over even from iOS onto the Vita version, which is very cool. I do like the way EA or Criterion really kind of implemented that system, where it's almost like you're always kind of online, always challenging friends. So what you may see, guys, when you play this game is you'll drive past the speed camera, and the speed camera will register what your speed is, and it'll also tell you kind of the speed of your friends who've driven by that speed camera as well. So, and it downloads that data onto your Vita, so it's not like you have to be online to know about that. So you're always kind of aware of aware of kind of what your friends have done, always trying to beat your friends as well, which is a very cool system. So Kabuki Kid mentions that she liked Demon Souls more than Dark Souls. I think I preferred Dark Souls. Yeah, Demon Souls was definitely more challenging, but I preferred Dark Souls, the whole kind of world around it as well. Demon Souls, because it was, I think what I like more in what I like more in Dark Souls was that it was kind of this big interconnected world, whereas Demon Souls was kind of those individual levels that you would sort of teleport to. But it was still an amazing game, just groundbreaking, I think, for its time. And obviously, we still see the influence of that game, not only on kind of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, but on all these different kind of copycats. Some of them are maybe kind of copying the style, but they've done it really well, like in a good way, like Salt and Sanctuary on the Vita, which takes that whole kind of gameplay onto 2D, and it just worked so well. So Dark Shadow, you got your 32 gig memory card in clearance for only £15. Nice. That's a good deal. That's a very good deal. So yeah, Mr. Snakecake mentions that Bluepoint is doing the remaster for Demon Souls. Sorry, I'm going to keep getting that confused. And they're just great. So I don't know if you guys have played it, but they did the remaster of Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, Metal Gear Collection, on the Vita, and they did a brilliant job. And that was an example of a port of PS2 games done perfectly. Like, they looked amazing, they ran perfectly. It was just brilliant. Whereas, when you look at other ports of PS2 games, like the God of War ones, which were not quite as good, where they didn't do as good a job, unfortunately. So Robert Hayes asks, how do you unlock mods? It seems random, but I guess there's some technique behind it. It's not random. You have to do certain things. So, for example, you have to jump 2,000 meters or something like that, and then you'll unlock one mod. But you have to do different, kind of almost complete different challenges. But I don't know if it actually tells you. So, oh yeah, here we go. So if you look at the one I've got on the screen now, it says that I need to jump 1,500 yards with a reinforced chassis equipped on the Lamborghini. So you have to do basically all those challenges, and then you unlock those mods. Ideally, so one of the things, so right now you'll see on screen that my car has been changed to, it looks like a Porsche. The problem with that is that some of the races that people will choose to do online, they'll have a fixed car, which is a little bit frustrating, because if you're trying to unlock the mods for one particular car, you need to stick with that car. So if you... Did I go the wrong way? I think I went the wrong way. So you need to, if you're doing the multiplayer, you need to try and remember just to change your car back to the one that you wanted to use, or the one that you're trying to collect the mods for, and then you can make sure you do that. Yeah, Gunsmoke, you mentioned that the Namco and Midway collections from the PSP didn't make it onto the Vita. That was a shame that happened. So Kabuki Kid mentions, can you download those games like the Namco and Midway one onto the Vita from the PS3? Unfortunately, not every game works like that on the when you're downloading it. So some games just don't work on the Vita, some PSP games, which is really, really silly, really silly. It's also annoying that some PSP games don't work on the PS TV, and it's not clear which ones that is as well. I think there's a manual list out there that somebody was making to track that kind of thing, but yeah, I mean, really, Sony should make that really clear when you buy a game or try and download it. So Marcino asked if my OG Vita, if the screen has lost its brightness. No, mine's been fine actually. The screen on the on my original Vita. It's just brilliant. It's I haven't lost any kind of brightness on it. It's still perfect. So Kabuki Kid mentions grabbing split second on the PSP for the Vita. It's 19.99 on PSN, and she's waiting for a sale. Yeah, it's. I think there's a lot of good. The PSP actually had a lot of good racing games. The Burnout games are really good as well. I think it was Burnout Legends was the better of the two. There was Burnout Legends, Burnout Dominator. Both of those were good, but I think Legends was the better one. So Robert asks, do you like playing visual novels on your Vita? I'm playing Chaos Child, and it's absolutely awesome. I'm not a huge fan of visual novels. I'm okay with them. I tend to find that they make me feel quite sleepy. I always associate reading with bed, and so whenever I'm playing a visual novel, it's hard for it to keep my attention. The ones that kind of really managed to keep my attention were Danganronpa and Danganronpa's series, and Virtue's Last Reward. Those were two where I was just like constantly kind of hooked and just always, that really held my attention, those two games. But generally, yeah, I haven't been able to stick with many visual novels. I tried playing the Muv-Luv games, but I was just not that into it. But I heard I should stick with it or go back to it because they're supposed to be amazing. So Kabuki Kid mentions, what's my opinion on XCOM on the Vita? I think XCOM on Vita is really good. Now, it's not the best port, admittedly. It does have issues in terms of performance, slowdown. I do remember having crashes on it as well. But it's still very, very playable. It's still, a really great game. I played the whole game all the way through on the Vita, and it's awesome. It's, if you've played the PS3 version, don't expect anything on that level, but it's still a really good game. Yeah, so Jacek, you mentioned that on a hacked Vita you can use Adrenaline, and then you can basically play it as a PSP, which is quite cool. I really like the PSP UI, so I actually quite like doing that as well and using it like my PSP almost. And so you dumped your UMD games and transferred them onto the PSP. Yeah, I've done that as well. I think I've got pretty much all my collection digitally now. I mean, everything was on, most of the games of the PSP are on PSN anyway, but the two big missing ones were Crisis Core and Kingdom Hearts, which I've got on my Vita, so on my hacked Vita, so I can actually play them, which are both games just brilliant and still hold up. So Robert asks, are we being trolled by Sony with their refusal to put Attack on Titan on sale? Ah, man, that's a frustrating one. I ended up buying it from Japan, just getting the import copy, just instead of waiting to pay £40 for the digital. It's like, just out of principle, the idea of paying £40 for a digital game just annoys me. So yeah, I ended up buying the physical version from Japan. And because I've seen the anime anyway, so it wasn't a big deal in terms of story, but the gameplay is brilliant, really, really brilliant. I did a little review of it on my channel, if you want to check that out. The gameplay of Attack on Titan on the Vita is excellent, really, really fun. So Jelly the Pro, you're asking a few times, can I buy you a PSN card? No, dude, sorry, man, I'm not going to do that. Kabuki Kid asks, what's the most underrated game on the Vita? That's a tough question. I think a lot of people didn't play it because it only came out last year. But if you're a fan of old school JRPGs, Romancing Saga 3 is brilliant. Really, really good game. I talked about that on my channel a couple times as well, but it's a really awesome JRPG and so different from pretty much every JRPG I'd played up to that point. It really kind of just subverts your expectations. It's still an 16-bit game, but it's just so much emphasis put on kind of choice and discovery that it's just really special to me. Really, really good. And I feel like not many people played it because again, it was digital only, it was expensive, and it came out only just last year. So it's I think it just kind of a lot of people missed out on playing that. But I think that's a game I would definitely recommend. So Kabuki Kid asked how many Vita games were removed from the digital store. So there is actually a website I found ages ago which looks at delisted Vita games, or lists out all the delisted PSN games in general. I can't remember the link, but I think it was literally called like delisted PSN or something like that. So that's worth kind of checking out and trying to find if you can, because that's just to know which games. But you know, there were some really good games that have been taken off, like Virtua Tennis, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. There's a lot of games that kind of got removed, unfortunately, from the PSN store. But you know, for the most part, I think we've got them all physically. But then there are a few that I remember that were only digital. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember there were a couple which really were kind of a shame that we lost out on those. So Robert asks kind of what made me get into making videos for the YouTube videos, and probably specifically kind of about the Vita as well. Well, it was ages ago when I had I bought my Vita day one, and then I bought the PSTV day one as well. So, well, I got that imported from Japan as soon as that was announced. And I did like a little unboxing video on my channel, and it got like a lot of views. So you know, it was kind of the first video I did, and I remember in the first few weeks, nobody was watching it. It was very it wasn't really kind of doing very well, and I just did it for fun because I just enjoyed the idea of doing it. But then it was I came back a few weeks later, or maybe a month or two later, and found it got like 20,000 views or something silly like that. And I thought, oh, okay, so this was kind of cool. This was like successful. People wanted to watch it. And so that made me kind of think, okay, maybe I could do this a bit more. And I already, I've spent way too much money in my Vita collection already, and I had a lot of games. So I thought, let's give this a go. Let's just start making videos about Vita games. And yeah, it just kind of went from there. Just jumped on and then just started kind of making contact with some publishers and just started slowly reviewing and growing the channel, which has been pretty cool. So EJP, so you're asking, is the Attack on Titan game worth it for someone who's never seen the anime? I think if you're gonna get the Japanese version, which you probably wouldn't understand, like me, then I think you need to watch the anime, because you'll not understand anything that's happening in the story. But if you have seen the anime, then I think you can get the Japanese version. I think you can. I think if you obviously can't understand, if you haven't seen the anime and you can't understand Japanese, then I think try and go for the UK version, or the version where you can understand the language, because the story is really good, really intriguing as well. And so if anyone out there is a fan of the anime, so it's actually been announced that Series 4 is coming soon to English, which is pretty cool, because I think it's a really good anime, really great story. Yeah, Kabuki Kid, and maybe I'll do a video actually on those kind of lost PSN games. I'll try and fit that in sometime. So Zigzag Skate asks if I'm playing online still. Then yeah, I'm still online actually right now, man. So if you manage to come on, then cool. I'll see you on there. Hi Georgie, thanks for joining. Yeah, so Kabuki Kid mentioned she got the physical version of Virtua Tennis, which is great. That's a really fun game. I'm not into sports games normally, but that is one sports game that I really enjoyed, especially on the Vita. It's so easy to just pick up and jump in and play for a while. So Brian, you mentioned that Dragon's Crown's been removed from PSN. I think it's only been removed from EU PSN. I think it's still available on the on North America PSN. I'm pretty sure anyway. But yeah, it was annoying that was pulled. But that's another game. At least you can still get it physically, and you've also got. It's actually a great game for online as well because you can play with PS4 players and PS3 players, and so there's a good chance you'll find the servers full for most of the time when you play. So Robert says his wife isn't into gaming or understands why I watch gamers on YouTube, but she loves the Too Old for Gaming name and the short intro video. Cool. I'm glad you like that. That was I commissioned that from this guy who I kind of saw online, this pixel artist. So back when I asked him to do it, my channel was still really small then, but I thought it'd be cool to have like a nice intro. And so I saw him online and then asked him to do it. And since then, he's gone on to make like a couple of games as well. There was this really cool game which I played. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was a really cool kind of 2D action game, 2D action platformer that he did the art on. But he's a really cool guy that managed to do that video. Yeah, glad your wife likes it. So Gunsmoke says he loved the Titan Attack 1 and 2 on the PS4. So I actually bought the Titan Attack, I think it was like Final Battle or something like that on the Switch, which I believe has got Titan Attack 1, 2 and Series 1, 2 and 3 on it. But I haven't started that yet. So yeah, I'm interested in giving that a go too. So apologies guys, sorry, I'm going quiet every now and again just to have some water and cough a little bit, so sorry for that. Dark Shadow mentions BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma, underrated game. Yeah, it's really good. I was actually working on kind of a series of videos. I was going to do kind of like a best fighters on the Vita videos. So that and the other BlazBlue game, the Undernight Inbirth. I think these are all like really good. The Vita's got some really good fighting games on it. I wish it had Capcom vs SNK 2 though. That's I think one of my favourite ones on the Vita. Gunsmoke, apology, I just knocked you down. Sorry about that. So Robert mentions he dreams of Dino Crisis coming onto the EU PSN on Vita. Yeah. It's on the North America store, which I've actually got downloaded. But yeah, it's a shame it never came to Vita. I think the EU store is better for PSP games than North America, but for PS1 games, the North America store is better. So Gunsmoke was playing Dragon's Crown just yesterday. That's cool. I want to get back and play that. I still need to get just one more trophy on Dragon's Crown, which is the... Oh no, well no, that's not true. I need to get a couple of trophies, but there's that one trophy, the one where you need to eat all the different meals. So I still need to get that one. So I need to kind of jump online and hopefully kind of get that just by playing enough online and just randomly sort of people ordering different, making different food and getting it. That's a really fun game though, Dragon's Crown. I really enjoy that. Brian writes, Vita needs more survival horror. Yeah, we don't have that many survival horror games, unfortunately. But I mean, we're not going to get that many more, to be fair, man. It's all, the games that we're going to get coming out are all going to be mainly indie games, roguelikes, 2D platformers, that kind of thing. But, hey, that's fine. Personally, I've got such a big backlog on my Vita that I'm kind of happy just kind of continuing to play it for a while. So Kabuki had mentions that we had Crash Bandicoot on the Vita in the EU, whereas they had the Dino Crisis. You guys also had Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger in the US, which is we never got that on the EU PSN, annoyingly. Yeah, Mr. Snakecake agree. I need to. So Mr. Snakecake mentions that to get the trophy for all the meals on Dragon Crown, you need a guide for it. It is complicated. I did try and do it once, but it takes so long to go through the game and go through all the levels. Um, so that's why I've never kind of I haven't put enough effort into it. I was kind of just hoping if I keep playing online with people, I might just kind of get lucky and people just kind of have the trophy pop, because I've been playing that game so much that I've got to the last difficulty, Inferno difficulty, and I'm not far off from just finishing off the last dragon. So I have made so many meals in that game. It's just that final one I need to final few to try and get that trophy unlocked. So Robert mentions he needs to start and play the Vanillaware games properly. I really recommend them. They're so much fun. I think Dragon's Crown is probably my favorite of them all, but Muramasa is probably then Muramasa and then Odinsphere. Odinsphere is great, and I think actually I'm probably in the minority putting that last. I think one of the reasons I put it last is just because it's so long. It's a massive game, and you do have to kind of repeat the levels a little bit and repeat the same bosses. And so that was a little bit of it got a little bit boring for me after a while to do that. But otherwise, it's a really good game. So, do I need to jump over this? Oh, I see what I need to do now. Okay. I'm trying to look at the comments too much. I'm not concentrating on the game enough. So Gunsmoke mentions he hasn't trophy hunted much on Dragon's Crown. He's sticking to his favorite Vita game and typically playing retro PSP stuff. Yeah, I think I've actually been playing a lot more Switch last couple of days at least on XCOM 2, which I've really enjoyed XCOM 2. It's I had it on the PS4, and the PS4 version of XCOM 2 is much better than obviously the Switch version. It's again, you're comparing like the PS3 version of XCOM versus the Vita version. It's that sort of level. But even on the Switch, it's still very playable. And XCOM on the Vita is awesome. If you want to have that, I'd recommend that as your starting point to kind of get the feel for it and understand the game before you try XCOM 2, because XCOM 2 is a lot harder. Oh, so Dark Shadow mentions if you want a horror-ish game, there's a homebrew game called Nazi Zombie. Go support the devs too; they deserve all the support. Okay, cool. Nazi Zombie. All right, let me. I'll try and look that up later on today or tomorrow. It's good to know. Marcelino, yes, my avatar is a purple face. Which, I had that from the very first day I think I got my PS3 when I first set up my PSN profile, and it's always been the case. So I'm just going to accept. I've seen there's a few more friend requests, so I'm just accepting them all. Cool, I've accepted everyone's friend request now. My queue is empty. So yeah, Mr. Snakecake, actually you make a good point. He says that he stopped trophy hunting, as personally it was detrimental for me. Unless I really love the game, trophies are something I skip these days. And actually that's the same for me actually. I don't actually pay that much attention to trophies anymore. It's only for a few games, something like this, where it's a game that I really love and that I've already put a lot of time into. For that I wouldn't mind taking more time to play to get the trophies. But generally, I don't really pay that much attention to them. So Brian mentions, remember the Vita can enable touch controls for PSP games. Yeah, it's you can customize the controls. So for PSP games, you can use the analog stick or use the touch control. It's that's why I'd say most PSP games are a lot better on the Vita itself than they were on the PSP. So Mr. Snakeake asks which platinum am I most proud of? You know what? I think on the Vita, maybe Gravity Rush. Remember that one took me a while to actually to get, but I was really happy kind of to get that platinum. Some of the challenges were a bit of a pain, but yeah, I was really happy to get that platinum finally. I don't have that many platinums generally. I've got Uncharted, Unit 13, Gravity Rush, but I don't have that many. Now, how do I get to this? So I need to jump onto the roof. I'm not sure how I need to do it. Oh, it may be through this. Okay. This crazy loop-to-loop. Definitely crashing that one. Okay. So Largeman mentions he's been playing Legend of Dragoon on the Vita TV. Just started from the beginning and loving it. That's cool. I've never played that. That was an old PS1 game as well, I believe. That's cool. Yeah, I need to check that out. I've never actually played that before, but I remember hearing people talk about it. Now, how do I get to this building? Oh, that's how to do it. Okay, I'm not gonna make it, but that's how to do it. Bye, Kabuki Kid. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the chat. So Robert asks, how many platinums do I have? Not many. I'd say, well, I probably have maybe 15 genuine platinums and probably about 30 or 40 Ratalaika platinums. So I don't count them as genuine platinums, but I think for those ones you just kind of end up getting them so easily and unexpectedly that I've just got so many of them because of that. But I don't count them at all. And some of them I find quite frustrating. I remember for Metagal, I really liked the game, but then the platinum trophy popped within like the first 2 levels or something silly like that. I didn't even have to finish the game from memory to even get the platinum, which kind of annoys me. It's like, I think you should at least finish the game if you're going to get a platinum trophy. So that was a little bit annoying. So Ali Guy, you mentioned that the audio is a bit low. Sorry about that. I don't know. I can try and adjust it slightly. I think one of the reasons I've tried to adjust it a little bit because in one of my previous streams there was a bit of an echo, so hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Robert Hayes asks, which game makes best use of the rear touchpad? Oof, which one? I'm not sure. I actually, the rear touchpad is something I'm not a fan of on the Vita. I wish they had just put 2 buttons there, so that you could kind of have the, the L3 R3 there. Oh, sorry, the L2 R2 there, or even the L3 and R3 as well. It's I think that touchpad was kind of not the best move. I think they probably could have made the Vita cheaper if they'd taken it off. I know Saitsalot used the back touchpad, which was quite a recent game. But maybe Little Big Planet actually. Little Big Planet I think used the back touchpad quite a bit, and that generally did the use the touchpads in a good way that wasn't kind of overly intrusive. Oh, so Mr. Snakecake, you got the Wipeout 2048 platinum. That's a good one. That's really tough. I wasn't able to get that. I did when the servers were going off. I did try and start playing it more in hopes that I could get it, but it's a really tough one to try and get the platinum. I think I haven't actually finished all the single player game levels on it. It was just really tough. Some of those last missions were just too tough for me to finish. So how can I make this jump? It's really tough. No, I'm definitely not making that. So Gunsmoke, you got on the wrong roof. Okay, well at least you made it to a roof. I can't even get onto one of them. I think you need to build up quite a lot of momentum, but it's just it's trying to stay on this track is tough. Hi Carlos, thanks for joining. So Robert mentions that he complained on Twitter about about Ratalaika's trophies as well. Siberian was quite tough, and I can't do I Am the Hero. Oh, okay, I think I Am the Hero. I didn't find that one too bad. I know there were a couple of missable trophies on that one, but I don't remember thinking it was too bad. I'm really not getting this this jump on the roof thing. Oh, Gunsmoke, yeah, you made a good point. Tearaway uses the rear touchpad. That was probably a pretty good example of a game using it. And Diablo 3 in remote play. There's a few games that use the back touchpad, but in remote play. But actually, I prefer when I've got the Hori remote play grip, where you can kind of use the buttons on that rather than the touchpad, which is just a lot more precise than trying to mess around with the touchpad. I'm just not able to do this. Oh, Carlos, yeah, that's a good point. The flower as well. Oh, so you just got the pure trophy on Flower for journeying to the city unscathed. That's I really like Flower on the Vita. Flower on the Vita was an interesting one because when you first play it, I found the controls really awkward, really awkward. But when you get used to it, it actually works really well. It feels right once you kind of figure out how it all works. Oh, so Dark Shadow, for some reason your messages aren't appearing. Sorry about that. Don't know what's going on with that. So Marcelino writes, your name reminds me of a scene from Bloodsport when they're playing an arcade karate game. That was a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, wasn't it? Bloodsport? I'm pretty sure. Haven't seen those movies in ages, since the 80s. It was when me and my cousin were way too young for them, but managed to kind of just sneak over to his dad's video collection and grab it and watch these movies when we weren't supposed to. Alright, let me see if I can jump from this part of the roof. I'm not going to make it again. So Jacek, yes, I think lobbies are limited to 4 players in this game, unfortunately. And that, I remember, was one of the criticisms of this game kind of around launch, that people were saying that, oh, you know, I think the PS3 version could have 8 players, maybe, or 12 players, and so this one only had 4, unfortunately. So Carlos asked if I use touch controls or motion controls on Flower. So I use touch controls. And, you know, I thought they did actually work quite well. Like I said, once you get the hang of it, it actually worked pretty well. Because it's like you're kind of sliding your fingers up and down the back of the back touchpad. Large Man mentions, yeah, he's been trying to find the Hori grip, but they're really hard to find. Really hard to find. It's really unfortunate. They were around. They were very easy to get for a while back on PlayAsia, but you know, I think they just all sort of disappeared almost. They don't make it anymore, and it's just become so expensive because they're so rare. Sorry, sorry, Rob. Well, guys, I'm gonna shut down now. You know, thank you so much for joining me, and you know, thanks to everyone who was playing online as well. It's great to jump online. Hopefully you guys have made a bit more progress to getting those trophies. I know I've actually saw a couple of mods unlock, so that's pretty cool. That I can maybe continue trying to do that at some point. But guys, thank you very much for joining, and yeah, good night, and hopefully I'll see you in the next stream. I haven't decided what the next game will be, but I did see some people talking about, well, a couple of people mentioned Little Big Planet as a potential option. Which could be quite cool because that has 4-player multiplayer as well. So that may be the next game. But I'll give it some thought, and I'll make sure I put a comment up and community post and put it on Twitter before I start.